Hey guys, it is, Tuesday, June the 14th, 2022. And this is my object lesson for the video today. Now, I just made a community post and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to make a video about this, especially since I do have quail. I don't possess any manna, but I do have sunbeam bread, so that's what you see in the cage there. But I love to do these object lessons because I think this is such a perfect point to make regarding the Sabbath day. Now, I don't like to call anybody out as being wrong, but when I see evidence like this, and I know how many are led astray, I mean, it's so easy to be led astray. When I saw a lunar Sabbatarian, that's what they're called, post a video about how simple it was just to look up and look at the different phases of the moon. It couldn't be more simple. I even had the question myself, and I've been keeping Saturday Sabbath for years, and I've looked into this for myself, but I just had never heard it explained so simply. And even I had a moment where I was like, could it really be that simple? But then the Father has reminded me. And guys, we got to take it all back to Him. No matter how well someone explains something, don't let that determine your truth. Only the Father should be who you go to for your truth. This little guy's kind of skittish, but he's not thirsty. He's got water and food. Anyway, this is the manna and the quail. In Exodus 16, the Father showed me how He trained the children to keep His true Sabbath. He used manna and quail. And we're going to read over this for just a moment, bearing in mind that the moon was very visible during these 40 years in the wilderness. Okay, it had been created, so it was an option for Him to use if it was His plan to use the moon to show the Sabbath. But He didn't do that. I want to show you what He did. Reading in Exodus 16, and they took their journey from Elim. All the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat meat to the full. For you have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or not. That word prove right there is in the Strong's. It's H5254. It means to test. And that's just for those that say the Father doesn't test us. Okay, back to the scripture, starting in verse 5. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, At evening then you shall know that the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning then you shall see the glory of the Lord, for that He heareth your murmurings against the Lord. And what are we, that we would murmur, that you would murmur against us? So, and Moses said, This shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat. Close your ears, little boy. And in the morning bread to the full. For that the Lord heareth your murmurings, which you shall murmur against Him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. And Moses spoke unto Aaron, saying unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before the Lord, for He hath heard your murmurings. And it came to pass, as Aaron spoke unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak to them. At evening you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread. And you shall know that I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass that at evening the quail came up and covered the camp. And in the morning the dew lay around about the host. And when they saw the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay, and when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, It is manna, for they did not know what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, Let no man leave it until the morning. Now, notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them did leave it until the morning, and it had worms and it stank, and Moses was wroth with them. That's a nice way of putting it. I am wroth with you. And they gathered it every morning, and every man according to his eating, and when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, This is that which the Lord hath said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which you will bake today, and see that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. And they laid it up to the morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither were there any worms therein. And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today you shall not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, there shall be none. That's how they knew. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said unto Moses, How long will you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day, and the house of Israel called the name thereof manna. Okay. So this points me to an obvious question for those that say we're to look at the moon phases to know when the Sabbaths are. If that were true, why didn't the Father just tell the children in the wilderness to look up? Right? He used the quail and the manna, provided them in abundance every day. On the 6th day he gave double, and on the 7th day none. For 40 years this was the case, and by the time they left the wilderness, this had been so deeply ingrained in them, they knew when the 7th day was. They know the pattern. They knew it. They preserved it. God preserved it through them. He did not tell them to look up. He did not tell them to count the half moon, the full moon, the half moon, the new moon. He had to train them. There are 2 different cycles. There's a weekly cycle, and there's a Moedim cycle, an annual cycle. And the moon's purpose is to point to the feast days, to the Moedims. But the weekly cycle of 7 days has never been changed. It was established at creation. The children were trained to keep it in the wilderness. And it is a test. It is all a test. And he shows it right there to us in Exodus 16:4. He used this to test them, to see if they would keep his commandments. So guys, I just ask you to look and pray about this. Look at that. Now, Exodus 16, it tells you right there. If it had been about the moon, he'd have said, just look up, count the phases. But he had to use another means to test them and train them. So it's not the moon. Okay, and here's one more confirmation that the Sabbath day is the 7th day. What we call Saturday, the Father never gave the names for the days. It's just the 7th day, Sabbath. Okay, here's another proof of that in Matthew 28:1, and I want to thank another poster for quoting the scripture in the comments. In Matthew 28:1, we are told, in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, the ladies went to the sepulchre. There you go. At the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week. So the Sabbath is Saturday. My mind and my heart and my spirit are at peace with this. I know what the Father has shown me. And I just ask that if you're looking at the moon for your Sabbath time, because someone explained it really well, take it all to the Lord. Ask Him to show you. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone. You take it all to Him. And don't lean on your own understanding. And He will direct your path. He wants you to know His Sabbath days, or He wouldn't ask us to remember them. Okay, so this is why it's important. It's about remembering. It's not about looking up at the moon phases. It is about remembering His story of creation and the day that He set. All right, you all be blessed. I hope this makes some sense to all of you. Thank you for letting me bring my object lesson to you today. Manna and quail. It's all a test.